Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Thank you for holding this hearing, and I know we're all thinking of our friend Ranking Member Huffman, who's dealing with an illness, but certainly glad to have the opportunity to talk today about an issue that I've been working on for several years, and that is the Upper Colorado and San Juan River Basin recovery programs. These programs are a model of successful partnership and collaboration across agencies, states, and with both federal and non-federal partners in my state of Colorado, in addition to Utah, Wyoming, and New Mexico. They work to recover and protect 4 species of endangered and threatened fish, while also providing Endangered Species Act compliance for 2,500 water projects. They are a model for successful Endangered Species Act conservation efforts using the best available science, and in fact 2 of these species have even been downlisted to threatened status as a result of the work completed by the programs. It is why I've been a champion on this effort for some time. In the last Congress, the 117th Congress, I introduced bipartisan legislation along with Senator John Hickenlooper in the United States Senate to reauthorize and continue federal funding for these critical programs. And this critical program in particular, that legislation was marked up. It was heard in this committee, was marked up by the full committee, sent to the House floor, and ultimately passed the House, the Senate, signed by President Biden. We have reintroduced legislation that would, again, reauthorize this critical program for a longer period of time, and also addresses the funding needs, because the reality is we've heard from a variety of stakeholders at the local level that more funding is needed to ensure that this program operates successfully. There are, of course, both federal appropriations and non-federal contributions, but the federal appropriations piece is crucial. And what I would say, Mr. Chairman, is I hope that he will consider marking up my legislation to reauthorize this program, the companion legislation to Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Romney's legislation in the United States Senate, because absent that increased funding level, I fear that this program will not operate as successfully as it has in the past. Now, I will note with some irony that, unfortunately, I think some of the folks who are championing the particular measure that we are considering today, which is emulated after the bill, as I said, that I introduced in the last Congress and that I've also introduced in this Congress, are the same individuals fighting to pursue CRAs on the ESA literally as we speak, as we consider those measures on the floor, and I might add, also advocating for deep cuts to the Department of Interior's appropriation bill for this next fiscal year. It is ironic and, in my view, hypocritical to seek to reauthorize a program, because of course that's what we're talking about in this instance, while simultaneously seeking to defund it on the appropriations side. If you care about reauthorizing this critical program, the Upper Colorado and San Juan River Basin Recovery Program, and I certainly care, and on a bipartisan basis many of my constituents care, then you ought to also care about ensuring that the appropriation is there as well. And I would implore my colleagues who support this program to support the appropriation behind it as well. And I think it's a fair question for any citizen of my great state of Colorado, and certainly of the press, to ask of any member who purports to support reauthorization of the Upper Colorado and San Juan river recovery programs if they are willing to stand up and support the corresponding appropriation. And I suspect they will find that while I certainly support that, that many others do not. In any event, I'm grateful for, of course, the administration witnesses that are here today. I have no questions for either of you. I appreciate your service to the country. And I know we have a number of local stakeholders who have made the journey to Washington, D.C., and I'm grateful for them coming to here to our nation's capital to testify on this important program. Again, I would urge the chairman to consider a hearing on the legislation that I've introduced with Senator Hickenlooper. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back the balance of my time.